be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods, Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, December 30th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. There's a pretty well-known Silicon Valley investor named Naval Ravikant, who's pretty well known for telling people that they need to be extra cautious when it comes to guarding their time, because time is the most valuable asset they have. And I don't know if Missy Truscott heard the same TED Talk that I watched a few days ago, but one way or another, that message seems to be hitting home for the newly crowned Fitness Olympia champ, because it doesn't look like she's wasting any time getting right back on her grind. If you listen to some of the comments that Missy and her team have made heading into the Olympia, it made it seem like her performance in 2021 was somewhat of a perfect storm, in the sense that she was dealing with so many external factors that it was nearly impossible for her to come in at her best. But as we saw a few weeks ago, when she's able to put all of that stuff on the back burner and dial it in what she does best, she has the ability to reach levels that very few other athletes in the division can reach right now. So if she can keep her head down and manage to keep stacking up small wins whenever she can, it's going to make it awfully difficult for anyone to make any headway into narrowing this gap between her and the rest of the pack. Speaking of not wasting any time, it looks like it didn't take Akeem Williams long to get himself back in the lab. A few days ago, Akeem posted this behind-the-scenes one-on-one coaching session between him and fellow IFBB pro Brandon Ray, who was giving Akeem a few pointers on how to tighten up his back. A few days ago, Akeem posted this behind-the-scenes one-on-one coaching session with him and fellow IFBB pro Brandon Ray, who was giving Akeem a few pointers on how to tighten up his back double bicep, so he can give the judges a few more things to think about when he eventually hops back on stage next season. When you take into consideration the fact that Akeem was coming off a streak where he placed top 10 or better in the Olympia for 3 consecutive years, failing to even place inside the top 15 this year might have been a major disappointment, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. Akeem's shown the ability to be resilient at different points throughout his career, and my guess is that he'll use that 16th place as a motivator to really carry him throughout his entire offseason. And if we get a new and improved version of the Brooklyn Beast hit the stage in 2023 with a full head of steam, then the odds are that he'll be right back up there in the top 10 mix again before anyone even can bat an eye. Sometimes when you see someone get their first chance to compete at the biggest event in their respective sport, you don't always get their best, because it's hard to ever truly prepare yourself mentally for what the moment will be like, no matter how intense your preparation is. But the second time around, that's a different story altogether, because at that point, the happy to be here feeling wears off, and now they're out there hunting for big game, and if I were a betting man, I'd be guessing the next time that we see Tonio Burton on the Olympia stage, he's going to have his sights dialed in on making sure he comes out of the weekend without a 16 next to his name on the scorecards. According to reports, Tonio and his team are already back in the lab trying to dial up a new strategy for the 2023 season, where he'll be looking to build on all of that momentum he established during his first year in the open class. One of the most impressive things that we saw from him this year was the way he consistently got better from show to show, which lets you know that this guy is an absolute gym rat who understands what it means to trust the process. So if he can keep that mentality and not fall into the trap of getting complacent, he'll have the potential to surprise some people next season when he puts it all together. Vlad Sirocco is another guy who probably falls into the same category as Tonio Burton, in the sense that he also fits the bill of someone who might be poised to make a major jump next season now that he's gotten a taste of what it's like to be on a stage at the biggest show in bodybuilding. For all intents and purposes, Vlad really came into his own last season by winning his first pro show and proving to people that he has the ability to handle himself against some of the best competitors in the sport, which isn't something that was being said about him heading into this season. Even at this early stage of his career, he already has enough muscle to be competitive at pretty much any lineup, regardless of who else is on stage, which means that the next step for him now is trying to refine what he has and sharpen his overall package so he doesn't have to rely on overpowering people to win on any given night. So if he can figure out what he needs to do to give himself better flow and balance, I wouldn't put it past him to take another major step forward before the end of next season. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.